Welcome back to another edition of Chicago Rising. I am your host, Angelo Vasta, and I am here with the esteemed founder of the Creative Cypher, Troy Pryor. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. We are on day 7 of a 10-day run of the XL Film Fest, and it's focused on all aspects of storytelling from both sides of the camera to the boardroom, where decisions are made. So, this is a really low-hanging fruit question, but for the viewers that are not familiar, what does the XL and XL Film Fest stand for?
There are a couple of meanings for the XL. The first one was that the festival was born out of our film accelerator that we launched 6 years ago. And that was like our lab to support rising storytellers. And as those projects were completed, we wanted a celebratory moment that started as a showcase and then it turned into a festival. So we just rolled with the XL. The other kind of funny reason is that, funny to me at least, that was never supposed to be the name of the festival.
What was it supposed to be? Is that under wraps? You can't keep yourself?
I can't say what the name was supposed to be because it was supposed to be a joint venture.
Okay, I see.
It never went through. So on paper, we were just like, just whatever, just put it down. It's going to be another name next year. So it's stuck.
But it's stuck, yeah.
Stuck. And we started seeing it everywhere. We said, well, I don't think we need that other name anymore.
Yeah, it's extremely iconic in 2 letters, and I mean it has a whole lot of meaning. When I first heard it, I heard it before I saw it, so I thought like excel, like these are the people that are excelling in the industry. So that's very interesting, and yeah, again, it's such an iconic name. So we know that the Film Fest covers a lot of ground, from things like acting workshops to screenings all over the city. So could you expand for us, what can we expect going into the XL Film Fest? I know it's already 7 days in, but for viewers that are not able to attend or are wishing to attend next year, what can they expect?
Well, you're going to see, first of all, amazing projects.
Of course.
It did start as a film festival and now it's expanded to more of a storytelling experience. So you'll see other genres and other types of artists that are all storytellers. The last couple of years, we had segments called Blurred Lines, and oftentimes talked about artists that wear multiple hats or projects. You see a lot of prominent musicians that are producing films, and vice versa, or athletes that may be financing production companies. So those lines get blurred, and that was one of the things that we wanted to highlight is that there's not this monolithic space that we're in. So you'll see a variety of storytellers that are there, conversations, fireside chats, panels, workshops, and we started to implement some cool things. We had live painters this year, a cigar lounge.
Come on, man. That's sweet. So it's beyond filmmaking, and it's beyond film screening.
It is, and for a variety of reasons, not just for the storytelling aspect, but for the experiential. One of the things that I've noticed, chairing and being a part of other festivals, as great as it might be to sit in a room and watch a film, I oftentimes wonder, well, what happens after that film is over? When the credits are over, what's the rest of the experience like? And for me, when I hear the term festival, I want to see something, to be a part of something that is festive. And a lot of times, it's just not that, So there are a lot of events that are listed as festivals, but they don't necessarily have that draw. And what I would notice when I go to other destination festivals in other parts of the country, so you think Sundance is the big player, and TIFF is a big one in Toronto, Tribeca is a big one, EBFF. These are what we call destination festivals. So people are booking their tickets months in advance. They are designing vacations around that. And Chicago is a world-class town that has the capacity to create festivals of that nature. And so that's one of the reasons we partner with the University of Chicago in the Hyde Park area, because as this festival grows, it's got to be more than just a showcase of films. It's got to be something that people are already thinking, hey, I'm getting my tickets ready for next year, or I'm putting in, in my requests at work. And so that's where we're headed.
So yeah, really expanding on the festivity of it, because you're right. I've been to a few film festivals and also music festivals as well, and the festivity is not really like expounded upon, and that's great. Promoting the city of Chicago in all its facets, down from food to music and especially film, that's fantastic. That's something to be really proud of as well. So 10 days is a plethora of content for filmmakers, musicians, even people in the industry to take a lot of information up and soak up. So you can pick and choose what to go to, or you can buy a ticket and experience the whole thing. How does the process work when it comes to ticketing and choosing what you want to do?
So we give options. So if somebody wanted to attend everything over the course of the 10 days, we have an all-access pass, and we're basically branding that as a passport. So moving forward, that passport will give you access to all of the things. Like today's day is all about live podcast recordings, whereas opening weekend was a bit more of a, the larger audience.
Of course.
Opening weekend, glitz and glam, public. So we've got folks that are coming in today and they get to see behind the curtain.
Well, of course.
But they get access to that. But let's say your schedule doesn't permit. So we set up opportunities for folks to just a la carte opportunities as well. And one of the things I learned from a very successful series of events that was in Chicago Ideas Week for some time. They made the access to those events very achievable. So we wanted to make sure that this was something that you go to some festivals and it's like, it's a $2,500 package or $5,000 package. Like, listen, man, we're only in year 3. We want to make this accessible. We want feedback. We want to know what works, what can be tightened up. We're still growing, so we're just grateful for the opportunity to do that.
Yep. And I mean, I speak for myself as a creative. We don't have a lot of money. It's hard to. The gate is already high enough to enter. So keeping it accessible, that's fantastic, and it allows for more people to see the beauty of Chicago as creatives. So speaking of creatives, what kind of people does the festival aim to capture? Is it just creatives? Is it just decision makers? Or is it open to anybody?
It's open to anybody. I would say 50% easily are going to be creators, folks that are looking to advance in their career in some way, shape, or form, whether they are seeking information, they're seeking access to relationships, or they have a project in the festival and they want feedback and they want to amplify its reach. So most of the people that are coming to the festival are in the creative space in some way, shape, or form. A good deal of them, let's say about 25%, if we just keep the numbers, the ratio pretty simple, 25%, they're going to be folks that are just in attendance to be entertained. You see certain names that are there and folks just want to be in the audience and listen to them. So you're going to have a quarter of the people that just want to come and have a good time. And then I'd say probably a quarter, 20% to 25% of the individuals that are there are folks that are decision makers. They're in some capacity looking at the festival. They may be brands, they may be sponsors, they may be institutions that are looking at ways to get involved with the festival. So if you're out there listening, yes, come and get involved in the festival. We build this grassroots. We could use your help.
Of course, man. So the lifeblood of the film festival is the films and the people behind it. So could you talk about some of the films that have already been screened and we have the pleasure of seeing tonight as well?
Yeah, we're really excited. So first of all, shout out to NK Gutierrez, who is she is the executive director of Midwest Film Festival. She was my co-chair at Black Harvest Film Festival for some time, and she runs our film programming team. So all of the projects that come through goes to her team, and they curate those throughout the festival. Most of those projects are shorts, and they're screened in several blocks. And then we also look for opportunities in other places like tonight and throughout the year to program those projects in other events. And so NK's team does an amazing job with that. The other lane that we have for films are the event moments. So those are typically films that usually features or significant blocks of shorts that are connected to a talent or connected to a moment that we curate. And I would say it's probably the most populated one this year with the George Daniels documentary. The premiere of that.
Mhm.
George Daniels is a legend beyond Chicago,
Yes,
but
beyond
especially
Chicago.
in Chicago. That was a packed event, so much so to where the day before we were considering other alternatives
Really?
to space, just because of the feedback, the RSVPs for that. But that was an amazing moment, and we honored George on opening night as well with a proclamation from the mayor, and we gave him our custom snapbacks and the Sox baseball jersey. So that was a really cool moment.
Dang. So collaborating with also sports teams, that's crazy. I see the hat, the Sox hat with the XL25 on the side. How did you manage that?
You know, this goes back to my earlier point about not just showing the projects, but creating an event. So last year, there was a documentary called Fitted in Black.
Okay.
It was about the history of the White Sox baseball cap.
Sure.
And its,
Oh, yes.
and its connection to hip hop culture and just culture in general. So it included Ice Cube and Common and Chance and Vic Mensa. It was a really cool piece. And when I talked to the Sox, I said, we're in Chicago. I don't want to just show that project, and it's about the cap.
Yep.
Let's do a cap.
Yep,
And
of
we
course.
gave the cap away, and we did a design last year, which is actually, I don't know if you all can see it, that was the design on the cap last year. This year we went with the design all the way to the left, was a little bit cleaner.
Yep.
And we're really excited about that. So that's the new cap. We give these out opening day of the festival. So next year, I'm telling you right now, come out to opening day. We'll keep this going, and maybe we'll have some other things too.
Yes, get your hat.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, and it's clean. It's super clean. So about the filmmakers, you know, we obviously need funding. I say we as a creative, I'm not a filmmaker myself, but funding is such a huge aspect in getting your dream and your story off the ground. So it's my understanding that under the Creative Cypher there's an arm called the Lab. Can you expand on that?
Yes, that is a very important aspect of
Yes, it
the
is.
Creative Cypher and the XL Fest. So earlier I mentioned that the festival was born out of a need to celebrate the work coming out of our lab. We have now reversed that in a way to where the festival empowers the lab. So this year, Kickstarter came on board as one of our partners. They did an amazing one-on-one conversation with actor Woody McClain about his new venture with Kickstarter, but they're also one of our funding partners, our main funding partner for the lab. So what we do throughout the years, we select projects to get pitched to us that are in their incubation stage. We typically have some type of preparatory moment for them. We used to have a pitch competition at the festival.
very nice.
We've actually moved away from that pitch competition into more of a grant-like role. And so at the festival, we select a project. The project that was selected this year is by Ricardo J. It's called Hello, My Name is Ricardo. And it's going to be a really great project, but that's going to be the next project to come to our lab. Now, what happens in that lab, they not only get the financial support to complete their project, but they also get a ton of in-kind support because of a lot of the relationships that we
Of
brought in.
course.
So this is access to showrunners, network executives, studio equipment, preferred rental rates. We essentially the lab operates as a pseudo studio for that filmmaker. And what we are truly seeking is to not only help that filmmaker bring the project to life, but also do some QC, because that's a success story. And
Yes, it
that
is.
project will eventually premiere at a Cypher event, whether it's Excel the following year or another event throughout the year. The other thing that we do with our lab, again, Excel is not the end all be all, because Cypher is a larger ecosystem.
Of course.
When your project screens at Excel or another Cypher event, we actively look for ways to loop in our partners. So whether that's the New Black Film Collective in London, whether that's the Virginia Black Film Festival, whether it is I sit on the board, the Global Board for Soho House. So all of these other places will tell our filmmakers, listen, Excel is cool, but there are 10 other places
Of course.
that we can start putting these projects in. And as a creator, that means that you either have your submission fees waived or reduced. You are either automatically selected in some of these other festivals because we have carte blanche with one another to curate for one another. So if you're a creator, Excel truly accelerates your access.
But this is The more I learn about Excel Fest, it seems that the center of it all is uplifting storytelling and uplifting voices and making it possible that these stories are heard not in one avenue but all over. Such as AMC. I hear that there's a collaboration in the works.
Yes, so last year, thanks to the Tate brothers that came on board, shout out to the Tate brothers, Lorenz, Lamar, and LaRon. They were our keynote speakers last year. They saw the festival and said, we want in, we want to support. They're from Chicago, and like many that have done well for themselves outside of the city, they've always wanted to reinvest, and this gave them a platform. One of the things that they did was brought in AMC Networks. AMC then reached out to us, and we made recommendations on projects that screened at our festival. Now, I thought that was it, just make the recommendations. AMC came back and said, no, we want to work with you to curate a showcase to stream on AMC Plus. So those recommendations eventually streamed on AMC Plus early this year.
Man.
They overperformed on the platform.
Of course.
They came back and said, we want to do a 2-year deal with one of these projects. And AMC not only did that for that project, which actually premiered on AMC Plus on opening night, and AMC came in and did a panel discussion on distribution at the festival. But after AMC, Stars came on board as well. So Stars did a panel on development and acquisition. So what this means is that as these projects come through our labs and go through the various stages of support, we not only have the opportunity to amplify them at our live events, which Excel is our flagship, but we have all of these streaming partners now that are looking at Excel as a pipeline, as an IP pipeline. You want to go there to find the next, and Excel provides that.
And beyond pipeline, it sounds like an avalanche. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I mean the chorus of supporting and uplifting these stories, that's insane. I mean, congratulations. That's seriously huge to not only you, but all of Creators Life from Excel Fest. So I don't know if you can tell us too much about, it's not even over yet. We still have 3 days to come. But what's next? Can you give us an idea? I'm sure you're, just cycling all sorts of ideas and with all sorts of different partnerships. So what can we expect next?
So we're working on XL26. It'll probably be around the same time. We're working on some things with the city to make sure that we're aligned on dates. But beyond that, a lot of what you're seeing with Excel are what we call these passport events. Mm-hmm. So Excel Fest was originally just a weekend, three or 4 days. That's still going to be the meat of the festival.
Yep.
It's 3 or 4 days, but because we have so many collaborations with other organizations, we scheduled the events so that they tracked, right afterwards. So the way that it will run, more than likely, it's going to remain that 4 to 5 day experience. Mm-hmm. But you'll have the opportunity to get that passport.
Of course.
That passport gives you access to all of these other events that are going on with our partners throughout the city. So it turns out to be like a 10-day experience, but that's a lot of work. And so we're just focusing on that strong weekend, and then our partners collaborating after that point. We're going to continue our relationship with the streamers as it becomes a pipeline. I know next month we will start planning 2026, and then personally I move back to looking at content and producing content now that Excel. I am actively auditing different opportunities and partnerships because Excel will start to bring in stakeholders and other partners that will run specific elements of the festival. I'll move into more of an emeritus role and start removing a lot of hats. As an entrepreneur, especially as a creative entrepreneur, a lot of folks listening, we know we wear a lot of hats.
You already have your own films,
Yeah, so it just got to the point where I'm grateful that that this transition process can start to take place and keep this thing going.
Well, again, it's an avalanche, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And there's a lot of help involved, a lot of community, and a lot of even prominent figures. I know that you said last year that the Tate brothers had a chance to speak, and this year is my understanding that John Monop had a chance to speak as well.
Yeah, John Monopoly came in. He was Kanye's manager,
Of course.
and was so influential in a lot of careers as a musician. So John was our opening night speaker on the rooftop. So we had a really great time, and he was able to talk about his journey and his experience working with all kinds of talent, especially from Chicago. So
Yes.
It's great to see individuals that are from Chicago that have built their empires and their brands and come back and be willing to spread some knowledge.
And it's a great city with tons of underprivileged creatives that don't have the resources or the information or even the funding to get their stores off the ground. So that's amazing. What are there any other figures that have got a chance to speak
Yeah, I mean, our opening weekend,
Mhm.
we had a brunch, our soul food brunch. So that was George Tillman.
Hey.
The mind behind Soul Food.
Yeah.
Such a classic project that had a huge impact on the careers of a lot of performers, Vivica Fox, Michael Beach, Melinda Williams, Vanessa Estelle Williams. Or here we have Malcolm D. Lee, the director of so many things. I was just watching Space Jam, the new Space Jam with my son earlier today. He directed that project, but he was here speaking about his new book called, which is called The Best Man Unfinished Business, which is the third installment of a brand. So he had The Best Man films, then he had the television series, and now he has the book. So people have been very excited about some of the names that have come through, and we're still going. Tonight we've got some great local talent that's here, and we wrap things up this weekend with Chuck D.
Dang, what?
Yeah, so it's moving.
Personally, as a musician, I'm paying attention to XL Fest and the attendees and the people that go on. I saw that the esteemed Isaiah Sharkey, one of my favorite personal guitarists, was in attendance. So how are you, or rather, how's XL Fest pandering towards people outside of film, such as musicians and painters, like you said?
Well, I mean, everybody's a storyteller. I remember a long time ago, someone told me folks that achieve certain levels of success in the creative space, you'd be surprised at the other talents that they have in their toolbox. You don't find out until decades that musician was an amazing painter.
Of course.
Or that this individual wrote all of the songs for these artists, so you find out that stuff later. So I just wanted to have a more holistic approach on storytelling, and it's organic. It doesn't feel like it's a push or a stretch to have a panel with a filmmaker and then have a panel with the musician. It blends. So we try to make it all flow, but we're very strategic about it. I look at two individuals that they were synonymous with bringing people together. And there's one is a gentleman by the name of Clarence Avant and Quincy Jones, Chicago's own. So when you think about these folks, these are folks that they not only, with Quincy at least was an artist, but the thing that it appears as though really resonates with Quincy and especially with Clarence is that their ability to bring people together. And that's a transferable skill.
Certainly. And found in almost all creatives. I mean, that's creation, that's art, that's bringing people together and uplifting voices and stories. Well, speaking of which, how do you hope that XL Fest impacts the culture of the city when it comes to film, media, even decision making? How do you hope that it impacts?
All right, well, I'll be blunt. Listen, Chicago has not always been the friendliest to creators.
Certainly.
And it has led to a lot of talent migrating away for a variety of reasons.
Any of the coasts,
Any of the coasts, we talk about the amazing opportunities that having Four Seasons provides us, the resources that are available, the culture that's here, and all of that's true. But there has also been, that is true. What is also true is that a lot of creators for a long time have felt as though they can only do so much, and then they have to leave.
Yep, just get too big for Chicago.
Yeah, whether it's too big or just not feeling as though they have the support needed.
Sure.
And so it's a matter of listening.
Yep.
You know, I do a lot of speaking and public speaking and all that, hosting and all that. And I always tell folks, listen, man, a good speaker is a great listener.
Certainly.
And so if you're paying attention, the people are telling you that these are the things that they're looking for. So what we want Excel to do is to not only highlight those that are here while they're rising, and not wait until they're a big star to say, hey, come back to Chicago and be a champion for the city.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, a lot of folks that have gone through that journey have not been as quick to come back because they were like, hey, when I was there,
That didn't support me.
when I was there,
Yep.
I didn't feel that love. And
Yep.
now you want me to come back and say I'm a Chicagoan.
Yep.
Just being honest, you know. So what we want is to not only uplift and celebrate the artists that are here, but also create a reason for those that have gone out and done their own thing to come back. Because you know, there's a request all the time for people to come back, but Excel has become something that is much more digestible, much more authentic, and it gives folks a reason to say, you know, I will come back.
Yes.
And I'll say, listen, it takes a lot to put the festival on, and if it wasn't for what I just described, we wouldn't have been able to do that. You know, our first speaker, it does not hurt that our first main speaker was Robert Town.
Oh, yeah, it did not hurt.
It doesn't hurt at all. But when you think about what a lot of these folks and speakers could command, as far as speaker fees, accommodations, all this, we've been extremely blessed because the majority of them have said, we love what you're doing.
Of course.
We want to make it manageable.
Yeah.
I didn't say that everybody did it for free.
Oh, of course. Hey, no one said that.
But it was because it was aligned,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something they would oftentimes say, we didn't see when we were here. How can we support? How can we be of service? And sometimes it may have not always been them being a speaker. It may have been, hey, I can't make it there, I can't do it, but let me introduce you to so-and-so. And so that support has really helped. And that energy is what we want Excel to continue to build up, because that's the connective tissue. That's the why.
Yes.
That is the Chicago. Let me tell you, we are not reinventing the wheel.
Nope,
We are
not
not,
at all.
reinventing. Well, Chicago already has amazing talent. We are not, you know, coming up with anything that wasn't. We're amplifying what already exists and connecting those
Yes.
dots. And that force multiplier is what takes a festival that was grassroots 2 years ago, and within 3 years, it amplifies it to something much greater, because it's about that energy being a force multiplier, not reinventing the wheel, and again, highlighting what already exists. What that also tells us is that as great as Excel is, it's also an indicator at the gaps that exist.
Certainly.
So for a festival to go from year 1 to year 3 in the capacity that it has, it's also it's also very telling as to what has been, what the demand is, what the need is. And so we're grateful to help fill that.
And I keep saying avalanche because I mean, in 3 years, you know, it's already gone to such high places, and we can only imagine what the next year is going to look like. And you know, I'm going to be there. This is Chicago Rising. This is Troy Fire. Thank you so much. Seriously. And to all the listeners out there, you're going to be missing out. You know, XL Fest it's growing rapidly, and it is already so established and has a ton of great people behind it. And personally, one of the most important things is how authentic it is and how grassroots it is. And the proof is in the pudding. It's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But anyway, thank you very much for being here. And this is another episode of Chicago Rising. We'll see you soon.